Hello friends, it's Zoe and welcome to today's bullet journaling video. I always remember back to school season being very overwhelming. There's so many mixed emotions and anticipation, not knowing what was going to happen in the new school year. Every semester brings new challenges and obstacles and characters in your life. I bet many of you started school already by the time this is coming out, but it's never too late to sort out all the new changes in your brain on paper. In this video, I'll be sharing some bullet journaling ideas for students, focusing on spreads that are minimal, easy, and effective. This video is more about practicality rather than being aesthetic. I've made the mistake of focusing too much time on making the pages aesthetic and pretty, when in reality I should be doing the actual work, and I was just using my bullet journal as kind of like a procrastination tool, kind of giving a false sense of productivity. So yes, spend some time offloading all the new information and schedules and due dates into your bullet journal, and try not to get too bogged down by making it pretty. The first spread I'm making here, as you can see, is what I'm calling a semester overview spread. This page is a monthly calendar view of your semester. I fit 2 months onto one spread, so you would probably need 4 individual pages to fit a whole semester, which is usually around 4 months. To make this spread, you're going to want to split up the page into 4 columns, giving you 8 columns on the whole spread, and then the 7 on the left will be for the 7 days of the week, and then you have some extra space on the left side of the page for various things. So I filled in all of the numbers of the page, and then I'm going to go in on the left side and label the months. So I fit September, October, and the first 2 days of November on this spread. There's 8 weeks fit here. Each row is 4 spaces tall, if that helps. But it depends on your bullet journal, like what size it needs to be. But basically, I'm going to use the colors I have on the right side to fill in this spread. So usually I like to color code my classes. So let's say this green is my science class, and I'm just pretending I have, those tests on that day. So you can fill in the calendar with the test date that you have, and then use that extra space on the left side as a key. So I'm just writing a little green, and then writing on the left like science, or I'm forgetting. Yeah, science 101. And then I wrote like test number 1, test number 2, like whatever comes to mind. And then visually you can, do the little highlight of the color and write it in, or you can just use that color itself to write in your quizzes. It just depends on the aesthetic that you're looking for. And you can also use this opportunity to create a key for yourself. So let's say you want your tests to be a triangle, and then circles can be essays or something. So you can really customize this spread to whatever helps you best. If you have like a lot of different types of assignments, using different shapes could be a helpful method. You'll see me do that later. But I'm also writing, like, sometimes in your classes it really matters like what week in the semester you're on, so you can use the extra space you have either on the right or left side to write the number of the week. And you can also use space on the left side for maybe weekly goals. There's a lot of things you can do here. And you can also mark when you have days off. If there's like, winter break or something like that, you can fill in this calendar with that stuff. And it just gives a nice overview of the whole semester all in like one place. I know it's easy to see like each month at a time, whether it's in your Google Calendar or phone calendar, but to see it all fluid like this in one page can really help, visually map out how much time you have left until this date or whatever. It's very easy to let due dates slip by, so yeah. If you don't really feel like drawing out a whole monthly calendar, this next spread is going to be for you. So I kind of did two versions of this, one on the left side and one on the right side of the page, you'll see. And I actually liked them both together, but you can do one or the other or both. It all depends on what you want and what you need, and you can always swap out stuff. This video is just to inspire you and just give some ideas. But yeah, on the left side, I broke down the page into each class. So each class has its own color and own box. And then in each box, I am writing down the class information, the due date, and the assignment. Pretty self-explanatory, but it's nice to have all this information in one place where you can see everything. You have like a reference to go back to, because I know flipping through some syllabus, sometimes it's hard to find what you're looking for, especially the office hours or email. So yeah, it's nice to have in one spot. And then on the right side, instead of categorizing it like by the class, I wrote it in kind of like chronological order of these important dates. It's nice to have like a chronological view of what you have to do next, so you can better prioritize your efforts. If you know one class has a lot of due dates in the beginning of the semester versus when a different class has a lot of due dates later in the semester, maybe you can focus your efforts in that class that's, sooner, and then later you can focus on the rest. And it's nice to like kind of check off each thing as you do it. Doing this page second was actually really helpful because I could quickly glance at all the due dates on the left side and list them chronologically, as you kind of saw me pointing and writing. And then I just used that same color key of my classes. But if you only choose to do the second option, the right side of the page, there's also plenty of space at the bottom of the page for that class information that I wrote on the left side too. So it's a bit redundant seeing them both side by side together like this, but you can use the space on the bottom for goals, or maybe you can put your schedule, which I'll show you in the next example of a spread. You can also fit your schedule underneath there too, so you have kind of like a semester overview of everything in one spread, which is very satisfying actually. Yeah, I'm just filling in my fake assignments, and the right side is a bit redundant, having the class color-coded and written on the right, but I figured if you don't want to do the color coding, you can have this class column on the right side. And a bit of redundancy isn't too bad in a spread. It doesn't really hurt to be redundant when you need to keep track of assignments. So yeah, and then you can see me checking off stuff on the left side or right side, just to give yourself a little pat on the back, like, yes, I got this test done, only 2 more to go, 3 more to go, It's the little things. Now getting down to the daily routine of your semester. This page is going to have your schedule on it. I just wrote the semester at the top and had some extra space for some goals. So I do believe in goal setting, and setting some goals for yourself for the semester is always a good idea. Get some good sleep, study every day, don't procrastinate. These are all healthy goals that students should achieve. And below that is the schedule. So I have 6 columns, 5 are for the days of the week, and then the one on the left is for the hour of the day. So obviously this depends on your schedule, but for this fake schedule I just made it from 9 to 3, and then, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then there's another box at the bottom, which will be kind of like the key for the schedule. So you're gonna have the color for the class name, your professor, the location of the class. You can also write, more columns for more information that you need, or make the rows bigger so you can write everything that you need to know about the class. It's all very flexible. So I feel like people get their schedules down within like the first week or 2 of class, so this page might not be necessary if you started school already, but it's good to have for memory's sake too. I like to look back and see like, oh my god, I can't believe I had 8 a.m. at whatever, So yeah, and as I was making this video, actually, I thought of another way to do the semester overview if you don't feel like drawing the whole calendar again. This vertical calendar is pretty common in bullet journaling, especially in the minimalist side of bullet journaling. But basically you just write 1 through 31 vertically in the middle of the page, and then either side of that column that you made will be a month, and then you can use the same kind of color coding that you've been doing and just, highlight the day. So I wrote like September 20th, I have some math quiz, and that's a very, very simple and minimal, easy way to plan out your month. So yeah, and when you do have all these things highlighted in your bullet journal, you can, take a pencil and fill in the days that you can work on it, break down your bigger tasks into smaller ones. You can write first draft, second draft for yourself, gather research or study, units 1 through 3 this day versus study units 3 through 6 another day. Not only does this help you kind of visualize what your semester is going to be like, but you can also be proactive in how you're going to plan on tackling these assignments. So that is all the spreads for this video. If you want to see what my actual spreads I did for myself look like, you can check the video in the description. I actually showed them last year in my September 2023 setup and kind of talked through the real spreads that I had for school, starting from like high school all the way to senior year of college. So there's a lot of different examples out there that you can check out. But as always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!